Hello, Rowan Mithril here once again, getting back to the Pikmin 1 No Deaths run. It's day 16 and welcome to the bonus video. Today we're going to be covering some things that didn't actually show up in the main LP. And for starters, we're headed to the distant spring. As you can see, I jumped ahead in time a little bit, because, like I said, there was one minor enemy that we weren't on the planet long enough to see. It only shows up here at the distant spring on day 16 or later. So we're going to go ahead and get out a few reds. And behold, the Dwarf Bulbear. Dwarf Bulbears aren't too far removed from Dwarf Bulbears, only they have more health. And what this means is a single Goomba Stomp isn't actually enough to take them down. They're also a lot more cautious, so it's harder to sneak up on them to do that. They also do rather acrobatic backflips to get your Pikmin off their backs. You actually have to Goomba Stomp them twice to finish them off. So they're not that much harder, but it can be a bit of a surprise, if you're just expecting them to be as easy as Dwarf Bulbears were. Just to go ahead and see how much each one of these is worth, because I'm not actually sure right off. Okay, each one looks to be worth 5 seeds. Not bad. So, one more note about Dwarf Bulbears. They are of a size that Olimar can throw down with them. So, if you're worried, that is a good enough tactic. He seems to go through them pretty quickly. So, yeah, that works. As long as we're here, one more thing I want to point out, and it's not the fact that Wogpoles have apparently moved in, but it's the fact that, yes, your bridges can be destroyed over time. If you've been away long enough, you might come back to find that your bridge is under deconstruction, as sheer grubs, sheer wigs, whatever annoyingly voracious bug they have in the stage, starts chewing them apart. That's why I was kind of worried about the ramps back at the Forest Navel. So as we eat through the last few days here to get to the other two endings, a couple of quick things I want to show off. Or rather, not show off, because they weren't actually part of the original GameCube release of the game. So as we're landing at Final Trial here, one other thing I want to go ahead and talk about with the battle with Emperor Bulblax, I was making things out to be a bit more dire than they really were. Apparently, if I'd explored around a bit more, I would have found out that there were more bomb rocks around the outside of that arena. So, oops. I just never really looked around and found them. But, hey, it made things a bit more dramatic, didn't it? Alright, so we're going to take out 34 reds, 33 blues, and 33 yellows. From what I was told, these are the numbers that work for this. Supposedly, if you have an army of Pikmin comprised of these numbers, and just leave them sitting around, they'll actually start singing a song. But no matter how long I've had them out, they haven't done anything. This, I think, was only added to later games, and with different numbers and types of Pikmin. Speaking of things that were only added to later games, I was told that, while holding a Pikmin, if I tap B, it changes what kind of Pikmin I'm prioritizing in the army. However, nothing's happening. Others have said that it happens if you hit left or right on the control pad. Others have said up and down. But nothing I hit seems to be doing anything. This handy feature was only added to later games, to where you could very easily switch between what kind of Pikmin you were prioritizing as the one you were going to be throwing. Very handy. It also easily let you select which Pikmin you wanted to throw if they were armed with bomb rocks. The feature was added to New Play Control Pikmin, the re-release on the Wii. However, this also changed how bomb rock Pikmin worked. Yellows armed with bomb rocks, if you threw them and then whistled them back, they'd just immediately come back to you still carrying the bomb rock. More convenient in some situations, but in others, it actually made things trickier. For example, I wouldn't have been able to fight Spotty Bulbears the way I was fighting them, nor would I have been able to take out Emperor Bulblax the way I was doing that. Apparently, to do it no deaths in New Play Control Pikmin, you have to perfectly time it so that a yellow Pikmin actually throws the bomb rock into Emperor Bulblax's mouth. So that's a lot more difficult, and, yeah, kinda glad I didn't have to do it that way. So, one final thing here. For those wondering what happens if you go to the end of day at the final trial, what shows up at the landing site, well, let's find out. Also, from idly watching Chugga Conroy's LP of Pikmin, I found out that Pikmin can actually stumble during the end cinematic here. So, that's rather silly. Okay, so, end of day, and it's gonna be the old standby. We're gonna get a Spotty Bulborb. I guess the one in the ending had to come from somewhere. Hi there! And so here we are on day 30. However, we only have 29 out of 30 parts. We're still missing the secret safe. And for our purposes here, we're not gonna be collecting it. So essentially what this means is we have all the essential parts, but we're missing one of the optional ones. So we're not gonna get the best ending this time. Wow, it doesn't actually let you just go to sunset. So I'm gonna have to sit around here for a while. Be back once the day's almost over. There we go, it's countdown time finally. It's not the final countdown though, we have to do this one more time for the other ending. But for now we're gonna get the middle of the road ending. We have all the essential parts, but we're still missing one optional part. And that's enough to keep us from getting the absolute best ending. The day when my life support system fails has come. I've collected only 29 out of 30 ship parts. I have no choice but to attempt to launch the Dolphin into space, incomplete as it is. The ship doesn't need every last part in order to fly. For better or for worse, I must go. So no line of Pikmin to send him on his way this time. Only 3 little stragglers. And so we're not quite sure of their fate. Did we teach them well enough? We'll never know. Olimar was, however, able to get away. Just no trailing group of rainbow-colored onions this time. But at least Olimar makes it home. So that, once again, we're over here. And yes, the secret safe is missing. so we'll see if anything changes with the ending. Pretty much it's going to go right to the credits, so we've seen these, we'll just skip ahead in case anything changes. The end. But not the happy end. Also worth noting, I guess you only get to see the creature reel if you collected everything, because it completely skipped that. So, we got an ending, not the best ending, but things could always be worse. Now it's the final countdown. For this one I went to an even earlier save, where I was still missing 5 essential parts here at the Forest Navel. So now we're gonna get the worst ending. Yeah, not going back and getting the piggy bank, that wasn't too terribly bad. But missing things like the stabilizer, the anti-dioxin filter, the analog computer... that's a bit more important. So, once again this speech, we only have 24 out of 30 ship parts, and this time it is gonna make a difference. Yeah, the dolphin isn't looking so great this time. They look concerned. They probably should be. That's not looking too good. No, it really isn't. So for those wondering why the actual successful LP run isn't on this menu, that was something I just realized while saving footage. That's because I'm on a different memory card, just using backup saves for this purpose. So, yeah, missing quite a few parts there. Meanwhile... well, okay then. That happened. Wow, you don't even get end credits for that one. But, yeah, we did better than that. We got the best ending. Nobody died along the way. We can feel happy about that. So with that taken care of, a few last final thoughts on the project now that I'm not running on pure adrenaline. First and foremost, I'd like to extend my most sincere thanks to Neo, aka G&Watch, for the excellent title cards. The poor guy fought through some major artists' block to provide them, and I deeply appreciate them, so thank you again for that. So as for the game itself, I really had a blast going back and playing through this game. I feel rather happy that I managed as good of a run as I did. That's seriously pretty much the fastest I've ever cleared the game. I know it's not the fastest, but still pretty good for me. For those wondering about differences between the GameCube and Wii versions, alas, I can't really give any hands-on experience answers there, but I know some of the glitchier bits are still, alas, present. Some sources even seem to indicate that the crushing glitch is worse in the Wii version. Glitches aside though, Pikmin is still quite a fun game. I definitely love the series, and would highly recommend it to anyone wanting to give it a try. Pikmin 2 and 3 are definitely in the list for future projects as well, so those will definitely be happening at some point. For now though, it's time to bring this project to a close. Next up on my channel, it's October once again, and so we'll be off for our yearly trip to Silent Hill. This time we'll be taking on Silent Hill Homecoming. I hope to see you back for that project, and as ever, my thanks to all my fans, viewers, and supporters for enjoying my work. It truly means a lot to me. For now, that's the end of this one. Thank you all for watching, and I shall see you again as we begin our next project. Until then, fare thee well.